Some vegans tend to say that your position is absurd, or that you have been reduced to absurdity if you hold some unpopular view.
Depends on who you talk to, but some people think that illogical absurdity just is a contradiction. When Ask Yourself and others use it, they're referring both to absurdity in the contradictory sense, but also absurdity in sort of this like, at least they're disgusted, and they think most people would be disgusted with the conclusion of your hypothetical.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be a good argument.
As far as I'm aware, that type of thinking was popularized by the one who shall not be named.
This is actually under your budget.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you move in, Geico could help you save on renter's insurance.
Listen to me, you brain-dead fucking idiot. I want you to deliver a sound argument that establishes that someone is delusional in virtue of their gender and sex.
The walls seem a bit thin.
I think can you do it? Yes or no? I just want to know if you're no. I am giving you one more
Shall we move on to the next one?
Hold on, can you answer my...
According to that, you can be, quote-unquote, reduced to absurdity, even if you state something which is true, even if you're right about something. I think it is obvious that they are using it as a victory condition in debates. I seriously doubt that they would think their views are absurd, even if correct, just because many people perceive it as absurd. It's also self-defeating. If X number of people would think that their view of absurdity is absurd, then they would have to conclude that the view is absurd by using that exact absurd view. The third problem is framing. It is you who have been reduced to absurdity. It is your position which is absurd. You are at some fault. But in reality, what you say is not popular and agreed upon by others. That's it. In the best case scenario, it can be argued that some other people aren't going to accept your position because of some other views that they have. That's it. And of course, using this method, we can reach a conclusion that veganism is absurd if enough people find it to be absurd. There are a lot of things which could easily be considered absurd by non-vegan population. Just to remind people that there are vegans who think what other vegans believe sound insane.
In fact, the hypotheticals one could make that could potentially make someone who holds this belief sound like a complete psychopath are abundant. As an example, let's say we have a toddler who we hypothetically know is never going to go vegan. And maybe they'll even grow up to be a hunter who shoots deer themselves. Should we kill that toddler, assuming we could get away with it? Anyone who said we should would obviously sound like a complete fucking lunatic.
I think it is obvious that this view is just a ploy vegans use to win a debate when they can't make people contradict themselves.